We all have a critical inner voice. Some may have a voice that is louder or quieter than others. Some people's inner voice might be meaner or kinder, and you may be better at tuning it out. But we all have a critical inner voice. And at some point, I bet you've caught yourself wondering, what if that critical inner voice is correct? Here's some situations I've come across as a mental coach. After knocking over a barrel during a competition, the rider thinks, I'm such a failure. I'll never be as good as the other riders. Why do I even bother? After getting a lower than expected score in their rating pattern, the rider immediately thinks, I'm never going to improve. I guess I don't have what it takes to compete at this level. Competitor watches fellow riders execute the lope-overs and ranch trail flawlessly, and feeling inadequate, thinks to themselves, I'll never be as skilled as them. I'm just not cut out for this. Or here's a perennial favorite. Struggling to master a particular maneuver despite hours of practice can lead to thoughts like, I'll never get this right. Maybe I'm just not talented enough. Oof. Oh, has this ever come up for you? I would be shocked if it hadn't. In today's podcast, we are answering the question, what if that critical inner voice is right about me?
Welcome to the Resilient Rainer, the premier podcast focused on mental performance for equestrians and improved horse show performance. Whether you're a rookie reiner or a seasoned competitor, this show is for riders who want to take their skills to the next level and achieve their full potential in the show ring. I'm Nicole Burnett, and I'm a master mindset coach who's obsessed with helping you achieve all those horse dreams you always thought were impossible. Join me each week to develop a show-ready mindset and gain the competitive edge you need to compete with confidence.
Welcome back, friends. I'm your host, Nicole Burnett, and welcome to today's topic, the paradox of self-criticism. So we are addressing this all too common conundrum. What if the critical inner voice is sometimes correct? We're going to get into the importance of introspection and self-awareness, balancing self-awareness with self-compassion, the neuroscience behind self-criticism and kindness, and the unexpected yet highly effective strategy to handle that critical inner voice for unstoppable progress. Woohoo! Okay, so what if that inner voice that is so mean, what if they're sometimes correct? When we have a critical thought occur to us, and I want to point out here that, so full disclosure, I am absolutely someone who tends towards overthinking, towards introspection, being a little more introverted. I can spend a lot of time up in my head. I mean, that's kind of what started me on this whole thing, right? Is that I spent a lot of time in my head. And so I needed a tour guide because I was getting lost up there. All right. And so I really get all of the overthinking stuff and the critical inner voice. And if you are an introspective person, there's some great things about this, right? Introspective people can be more accurate and realistic about themselves because you can really break it all down, okay? And it's important, though, is when you have a thought occur to you, is you have to challenge that. I want to make this point about acknowledging truth. Like maybe you did hit that pole when you jogged over it, but there's a difference between acknowledging truth versus helpful thinking. And that is related to either just flat out denying something, like let's say you hit a log when you jog over it versus, no, I didn't. It happened. It's okay. But there's a distinction here between denying something that happened versus just kindly questioning a belief. Does hitting that log mean that you are a terrible person and a terrible rider and that you should probably sell your horse, right? I mean, I'm going there, but sometimes our brains will tell us we need to go there. So I can catastrophize with the best of them. All right. And so treating yourself with kindness, this is always important. Rather than just denying what you suspect or what you think might be true, another option is to just ask yourself if it's helpful to think that way. And this was such a shift for me that has helped me so much to remove any sort of value judgment, moral judgment, and just really get back to like pragmatic perspective. Is this helpful? Does this help me to learn from this experience? Does this help me to become a better rider? Does this help my horse when I am thinking and behaving in this manner? It really kind of neutralizes a lot of overwhelming emotions. And so I find this extremely helpful to just kindly ask yourself, is it helpful to think this way? Because even if something is true, if it's not helpful, if it doesn't solve anything, what a waste of your life, right? It's totally a waste of your focus, a waste of your energy. You're just gonna, hurt yourself. You're gonna wind yourself up, get stuck. You're gonna start overthinking. You might start trying to talk yourself out of a belief. So rather than get sucked into this downward spiral, you can really challenge it and help yourself out by asking, is this helping me? Is this serving me? And if it's not, time for some acceptance. You can call it acceptance, resignation, whatever, but you just give yourself permission to be flawed and move on. All right. Because a lot of times you do have the power to change the future, but something that's already happened, like, you hit a pole. It's, the example I just gave. It's already happened. Like, is it helpful to stay focused on that or not? This is where it's so important to practice acceptance, practice permission to be flawed. I did not tell you that you have permission to stay a loser. Okay, I'm being ridiculous here. All right, please forgive me. But my point is that sometimes there's pushback on like, well, I have to focus on this. No, you don't. From a very pragmatic perspective, you need to challenge these thoughts. All right. We have acknowledging truth versus helpful thinking, denying something versus just kindly questioning your beliefs, evaluating the helpfulness of your thoughts, and often the most pragmatic and effective course of action moving forward, which is in this present moment in the future, is where you have the possibility to change things. Acceptance and permission to be flawed gives you freedom to move forward. And that can be very difficult. I deeply feel you if you are feeling that way. One of the great challenges of my personal life has absolutely been self-compassion, expressing warmth and kindness to yourself. So maybe you're responding like this client, right? Where you say, okay, Nicole, theoretically, I'm willing to try this out. Absolutely. But how? How do you express immense warmth and kindness to yourself? Like, I'm 40 and I honestly don't know how to do that. Okay, thank you. Help me. You might be like that person and just be like, I don't know how to do that. I need you to tell me how. And so if you're feeling that way, hey, I see you. It can be very difficult to express kindness to yourself, especially as we age. So I want to share a little bit about some underlying reasons for self-criticism and some of what's happening in your brain and this neuroscience behind self-criticism and kindness, okay? We're going to talk a little bit about the brain and just what happens to your brain when you are self-critical and how this impacts your nervous system and how kindness interplays with neuroplasticity and growth. So some really cool stuff. All right. Okay. Let me just talk. Consider this idea. Consider that you are being extremely self-critical because there's a part of you that just truly believes that is the way that you need to be. And so this part of you, it might believe that you are undeserving of kindness, or that this is a biggie. There's a part of you that might believe that being kind to yourself instead of just being a total jerk, it might let you off the hook, right? It might mean you won't change. And if we're doing all this, but we're talking about it in the context of horses, so if you're kind to yourself when it comes to hitting a pole, that you're not going to make the change that you need to jog over that pole cleanly next time. But this is a mistake, guys. All right. So it's a good thing you're here today. Okay. Let's, in a not weird way at all, imagine we're like, I was going to say, let's look at your brain. Let's lift up your head. That seems weird. Let's pretend we're on the magic school bus and we're going to go to your brain. When you are critical like that, really harshly self-critical, the way your brain experiences that is the same, that psychological threat from your harsh self-criticism is the same as an immediate physical threat, as if it were physically present with you in your, wherever you are. All right. When there's a threat in your environment, your nervous system, it is like, I've trained for this moment. I've got you, babe. Okay. I've got you. So your nervous system, it like locks down, it doubles down for you, because at this point you're still alive, right? Which means that from your body and brain's perspective, whatever you've done in the past has worked, right? Because you're still alive. Thank you. And so it's like everything that we've done is a part of keeping us alive. We're doubling down on it. You know what that includes? That includes whatever you were just criticizing yourself about. Okay? And so in your brain, all these, neural connections, these neural synapses, where your information is getting processed and exchanged in your brain, they literally are going to lock up, which means that you can no longer take in new information. You can't consider it, process it, integrate it into your brain and being. It's been locked up. All right. You are on lockdown. When you are in that threat, when your nervous system is threatened like that, you literally cannot make change. It's absolutely impossible. However, when you practice some self-compassion, some kindness, some warmth toward yourself, what you're doing is you're communicating with your nervous system that you're safe, that your external environment is safe. It's safe to be here, all right? When your nervous system, it looks around, it's like, okay, we're safe, all right? Like, perimeter is clear. And it's like, okay, we're in safety. It can relax. It can settle down. Go back to your brain here. All those neural, synapses, all these connections in your brain, they open up. From safety, you are able to consider new information, process information, integrate new information. All of that can only happen when you are feeling safe. Now, obvious disclaimer here, guys. Being kind to yourself, treating yourself with some warmth and kindness, that's not enough for immense growth here. However, it's like the soil that you plant a seed in, right? It's not enough on its own, but if you couple that with, if you are a horse person, I know that you have these qualities. You pair that kindness and warmth with the extraordinary, your eagerness, your determination to take bold action, consistent action. You're going to get out to the barn. You're going to throw the log in the arena dirt, throw it in the pasture, and trot over it. You're going to do the work. Not the work, but you're going to do that part of the work. All right. That is when you become unstoppable, guys. When you pair this consistent, bold action with kindness and warmth to yourself. It's pretty cool. All right. It's pretty cool. And so you have to have an extraordinary, immense self-kindness in order to truly facilitate change. And this can feel so uncomfortable and so counterintuitive. And, it's like, Nicole, you're telling me that if I am kind to myself, this is a catalyst for growth? I don't know. But yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you. You need to practice just this kindness and immense warmth. This is a catalyst for your growth. So we've got to break this cycle of self-criticism. And you're going to have this evolution through your self-kindness and your determination. It's the people who practice immense self-kindness paired with extraordinary determination. These are the people who can evolve and level up the most. I really just can't emphasize this enough, this necessity of this immense self-kindness for unstoppable progress and personal growth as a rider and elsewhere. All right. That this is a dream team here. Kindness with determination and action. So I really just encourage you to, one moment this week, embrace self-compassion as a key to unlocking your potential. I want you to find one moment this week, just one, where when that voice comes up, that critical inner voice, and is just tearing you a new one, I want you to practice this. And send me a message about it. I love getting your guys' messages. I love cheering you on, okay? Because you need to know that I am always in your corner and I believe in you so much. I always believe in you. So, we've given you a lot here. Like I said, we've gotten into acknowledging truth versus helpful thinking, and how to question your beliefs, evaluate the helpfulness of your thoughts, how important it is to just give yourself permission to be flawed. We don't need to get stopped there. All right. And how important it is to express warmth and kindness to yourself. We've gone into what happens in your brain when you are self-critical and how that just shuts down your nervous system and shuts you down so that you literally cannot improve. All right. We are not doing this just for funsies, which I would have no problem with, but we are doing this also because this practicing immense warmth is an incredible catalyst for growth. Breaking the cycle of self-criticism, is so key. Remember, guys, that this kindness and warmth, pair it with determination and consistent, bold action, you are unstoppable. All right, so that's it for today. Thank you for listening along. I love our chats together. If you've been listening, pretty please follow this podcast so you get notifications, share it with a friend, and go ahead and please scroll down on your podcast app, rate the podcast, rate it 5 stars, and leave a little note about a takeaway you got from this episode. It really helps out the podcast and really helps me to be able to reach even more people so that we can all level up our horsemanship and be having a bomb diggity time riding our horses, kicking ass, taking names, and enjoying ourselves. All right. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to talk to you again soon. Oh, and if you're interested in developing your confidence as a rider for unshakable performance in the saddle, get on the waitlist for Resilient Rainer Academy when the course launches, coming soon. So resilientraineracademy.com, where I will teach you to be a confident rider. So get in for the nitty-gritty of the how, not just the what. So anyway, sending you guys all of my love, happy trails, and go ride your horse.